Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up with Matt, Landon, and Justin.
Get ready to stir it up. It is round of 41, and we're over the hill with our wheelchairs and our prescriptions.
Pains, yeah, erectile dysfunction,
All over
hair
the place.
loss.
Yeah, I mean, making just horrible commands and requests at the grocery store in black socks and boxers. This is Matt.
This is Justin.
And I'm the king of nonsense, Landon Doan.
You know what I just realized? I think I said episode 71 on Tuesday's episode, and that
It's okay.
Should have been 70.
Yes.
We went right from 69 to 71.
It's
We'll
okay.
do 70 next time.
It's 70
we'll just
next
do them
time.
out of
Yeah.
order.
We'll put a 70 in there. That's the lost episode.
Oh, just like Lord and Miller, erased from existence.
Race for Resistance. We had Ron Howard come in and redo 70, and he said one would fit better.
Yeah,
so
71 sounds better. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry to slow you roll. It's Thursday. Thursday. Let's Thursday it up.
Thirsty Thursday, Thursday.
We had a exciting Thursday last week because Thor Ragnarok hit the theaters and people were rocking out.
They were
Thorn it up.
Thor ragging it.
Thor ragging it.
Thor ragging it.
Yeah, on the Thor Ragnarok.
They were on the Thor rag.
Landon, I know you were one of the millions
You were on
and
the Thor rag.
millions of people that saw Thor Ragnarok. And
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
You said it was fine.
I said it was more than fun, but I think I said on Twitter, if it wasn't the best Marvel movie, it's damn near close to it. I don't think it's the best because I do want to go back and see it again before I say something like that. I don't want to be, a prisoner of the moment, but I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. It felt very different from everything else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Was it a bad
maybe
touch
outside
or
of
a
the
good
Guardians
touch?
of the Galaxy?
It sounds like it was a
But,
good touch.
Good touch.
I think it would be a fun game at some point to kind of go back and maybe do like each one of our top 3 Marvel movies so far. That'd be fun. Not today,
Before we hit Infinity. I think we should do it before Infinity.
before Infinity, because that one's just it'll be number 1 for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? We just
It's funny
assume.
you say that because myself and Hunter Reese are going to be broaching that exact subject on an upcoming episode of the Buttmunch Chips Variety Pack.
Well, there
So
you go.
Keep an eye out for that.
Well,
An ear out.
then you'll already be prepared.
That's right.
Exactly. For once.
We already know yours, and we'll hold your feet to the fire on whatever you said on there.
No, he can give 2 different answers. He's got
That's right. He's
gives
two-facing it.
Yeah, it gives him the option if he didn't, he wasn't totally sure about his top 3. He can have 2 top 3s.
True.
It's nice. I
don't know if I
appreciate
can-
the flexibility.
I don't know if I can do a top 3.
Think about it. Howard the Duck, number 1.
Bingo. Whichever one that had Howard the Duck's longest scene, number 2.
Okay. That would probably be
Galaxy 2.
volume 2.
Yeah.
I think so. He was just in for a second volume 1.
Yeah. 2 seconds in the
Yeah.
Galaxy 2.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well, now we know Matt's top 3. We're done.
I'm done. Done. And done.
Well, today we are not going to have a comic book corner, and that is because one of the things that I used to really enjoy doing was letting people know about the conventions that were upcoming, and then we kind of do a look back. We had a big one this week, important for those of us who enjoy the Blizzard games, such as Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone,
Just
that's
about every number
StarCraft,
1 game right now.
that sort of thing. BlizzCon 2017 was upon us, and a lot of things came out of that. So we're doing a combined effort segment this time. Landon is going to combine the hot and streamy. We're crossing the streams.
Crossing the
if
streams.
you will.
You're getting hot and streamy in the corner.
That's me in the spotlight.
Oh, dear.
But Landon, since we have a new sound effect for your intro, I'm going to go ahead and let you tee up hot and streamy. So hit it.
It's time for my Peter Frampton Talk Box Hot and Streamy sound effect.
That's messed up.
Very much so, yes.
And real time.
That's right.
Well, lots of announcements, and we're going to try to hit what we can. But some of the big ones that definitely speak to us, I know we'll spend just a little more time on. Landon, I'm going to start with this one because I don't have any kind of exposure or background to Heroes of the Storm. Is that something that you've ever played or tried out?
I played it.
I've messed around with it on PC. It is a free-to-play game, and when I was playing it, they would rotate different heroes that would be free for a certain amount of time. So if you did like to play as this character, you could try it out and then buy it and unlock it. But it's not a game that I ended up playing a lot. Matt, you said you've gotten into some Heroes?
I did when it had the beta option. I had a friend who had a bunch of open beta codes, and I got on there and played some of that. It's kind of like League of Legends in a sense, except a little bit closer of the overhead. It's a lot of fun, you know. You're defending, you're attacking, and kind of going back and forth, and it's really to me, it's one of those ones where you have to have a good team, you know, to kind of go in there and aggressively push on another team. So it was fun, and the characters are what you expect from Blizzard, you know, very dynamic, very I'm trying to look for the right words here, but
iconic too.
Iconic. There you go.
These are some of the biggest names in all of Blizzard lore. I mean, spanning from World of Warcraft to Overwatch to Diablo, everything in between.
I didn't have a whole lot of concept of who some of these people were, but I did have some of the favorites. I cannot remember names because you know how I am about names. But there was a big guy with a beard. I like being him, and then there was a woman. That
Santa.
Had like actually, yes, you nailed it. But in this game, he is Captain Claus. So, but no, there was some cool stuff, and you know, I thought it was a fun game. I don't know what they're offering in BlizzardCon. So.
Well, they announced that Overwatch's Hanzo is coming to Heroes of the Storm, and Warcraft's Alexstrasza announced for Heroes of the Storm. So
I could see Hanzo being a really interesting addition to Heroes of the Storm.
yeah, I'm not a Hanzo player.
No,
Overwatch.
boo Hanzo.
I do not. I'm not good at him, and I hate the people that are. So and apparently there's going to be a patch coming to the Fate of Hanamura,
Fate of the Furious,
and balance changes are coming. So if that's important to you, go check it out. I'm sure you can find the news about it. I don't know that much about Heroes of the Storm, so I don't want to speculate on what the impacts of those things are going to be to the Heroes of the Storm players.
It's a different kind of game. I think it's not the one that I usually play. So
there were a bunch of announcements for Overwatch, though.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
One of the biggest was we are getting the 26th playable character. Her name is Moira. She's a DPS healer. Apparently, she's like a geneticist. Going to be kind of a caster and be able to do some pretty massive damage, but she's also going to be able to heal party members as well. She looks pretty cool. There's a preview video if you want to check her
Cleric.
out. A cleric.
I have been reading some on Moira from people who have played in the test realms at BlizzCon using her. They said that she is a DPS healer, but at the same time, if she's the only healer on your team, you're probably not going to go far. So she feels more like a support class.
Yeah.
But I mean, being able to do long distance damage and long distance heals, and she also has an ability very similar to Reaper, where he can kind of phase shift out and move around
Shadow walk
and
or
escape.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm interested to get my hands on Moira and try her out. And Kotaku.com had the best way to describe her ultimate. She throws Gokus. She just pretty much goes like Kamehameha and just blasts the entire screen, and it does damage to your enemies and heals your teammates. So you don't have to worry about aiming like say with a Ana or a Lucio or a Mercy when it comes to healing. So I do like that aspect.
That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I did read something about her though. I don't know if it was on Twitter or what, but there's a huge learning curve with having to use her. So evidently, it's going to take some serious round of play to get used to it.
In my opinion, and I do suck at this game, there's a learning curve with all the characters. So I mean,
there is.
In order to be good at them, you do.
I
have
would
to
imagine
spend
that
some
came from somebody who is good. So
you're right.
for you, it's a lifetime.
Well. I
Though
should stay away.
I do want to say on the difficulty scale of each character, it's a 1 through 3 star.
Yeah, you're right.
She's a 2.
Oh, she's a 2.
So,
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but I
road.
had heard the same thing. There is somewhat of a learning curve to get used to her.
Looking at her, I'd give her a solid 6.5. Sorry,
Almighty.
she's no Andy McDowell.
It's the Andy McDowell of Overwatch.
There is also a new map coming, which is actually going to be a Blizzard theme park. This is pretty cool. Yeah, so it's going to have areas themed after Warcraft, StarCraft, and more.
That's fun.
I think that's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, that sounds like that's going to be a fun map to play in. There's a new Reinhardt short that apparently will make you cry. I haven't watched it. I cry watching things like Homeward Bound, so I'm sure it would too. New Overwatch skins based on Diablo, StarCraft, and other Blizzard games. You might want to
those look so cool.
throw those on if you're going to the Blizzard theme park. That feels appropriate.
Roadhog gets a butcher skin. That right there is the best, crossing the streams, putting your peanut butter in your chocolate when it comes to Blizzard. That right there is awesome. And also Doomfist rocking a Black Hand skin, that looks awesome.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. And I saw I saw some really cool looking ones from Warcraft just kind of across the board. I think that's pretty neat. It's just, we talk about skins all the time. They don't really mean anything. They're just kind of fun to customize your characters with, but it makes it exciting when you can kind of pull from other games you enjoy, so that's fun.
And here's a big caveat, too, on these skins. They're going to be in the regular loot boxes, which is different from the Halloween event we just ended, the upcoming winter holiday event that's going to happen. Those only come in specific themed loot boxes. These new BlizzCon or Blizzard skins are going to be available in the regular ass loot boxes. So I think that's cool.
That is
year
sweet.
round.
When does that? Oh, does that introduce right now, or is?
Jeff Kaplan said they'll be coming next year. So.
Oh, I was about to say the holiday season.
I would imagine they'll probably launch shortly after the winter event ends, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. The new skins, there's a total of 8 of them, and they're early 2018. So
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking that it's Christmas in Blizzard too.
correct.
And this is after they give you the actual Christmas event.
Oh, true.
And speaking on, I'm curious to see what new skins are going to be introduced in this year's event, because just based on the summer event and the Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge, the Halloween event that just ended, they'll bring back the skins that were in previous events, but they will introduce a few new ones. So I'm curious to see what those new ones are going to be.
So a lot of cool stuff coming to Overwatch, and it's we've praised its DLC and patches before, but they're just keeping at it, and all that stuff you get for free. Good stuff.
Yep, for free.
Speaking of free, StarCraft 2 will soon be free to play beginning this month.
Wow.
So StarCraft 2's Wings of Liberty campaign and co-op mode, no cost. So that's pretty cool.
No capes.
I've never been a huge StarCraft player. I have played it, but the fact that it's going to be a free-to-play game,
I always wanted to try it. I think they might have had a free-to-play on the first one, and I tried it, and I kind of didn't know what I was doing, and I walked away from it. I didn't have a whole lot of time to put into it.
StarCraft is nostalgic for me because I can remember it was one of those that we used to bring our giant towers and PCs together
LAN
in one
parties.
house and have a big LAN party and play some
LAN
StarCraft.
parties.
Yeah,
Nice.
that and the old Warcraft, we did that as well. And then moving on to World of Warcraft, they announced just basically confirming that there is an expansion coming.
Because they like money.
Yeah, Battle for Azeroth increases level cap and adds new continents. This one it's exciting to me, but I have questions. So World of Warcraft Classic Server has been announced, which basically will let you play World of Warcraft Vanilla. But there's still a lot of questions left to answer. It even says so in this article. One of the questions I have about it, and by the way, so first of all, I'm going to complain for a second, because if they do this, what am I going to complain about in the future? I need this to complain about and be like, back in my day when it was Vanilla WoW, you couldn't ride a mount till you were level 40, and you had to earn the gold to get there.
And the gold weighed 100 pounds.
It did. It felt like it weighed 100 pounds. It took me forever in the Arathi Highlands killing freaking raptors to gain enough freaking leather and sell it to get my mount. I earned it, and I was proud when I earned it. Now you can get a mount from the day you're a young character
World
from
of
birth,
Warcraft Amazon.
and you walk out, you kill a
step over mounts.
a neutral bat, and it gives you 10 gold, and you're like, hey, look, I've got enough to get a mount. It's ridiculous. But anyway, one of the questions I have about it, don't know that it's been answered. So it'll be expansion free. So it's the original World of Warcraft, but will they go back to how the old skill trees were? Mm-hmm. Will the new character classes they've introduced, new races, will those be available in Vanilla WoW?
What would you like to see?
I think it'd be interesting to really get a straight up fix the bugs, like bug patches, all the bug patches included, but straight up, absolutely no content patches.
Okay.
So from day one launch, it'd be really interesting to go back and play it the way that it was.
The 1.0.
Warcraft 1.0
with all the fixes.
with the bug fixes. That would
With
be,
all the fixins.
That would be interesting to me. Because it was a much simpler game back then.
Sure. That's kind of interesting because somebody like me would be overwhelmed probably with what it is now.
It's a lot there's a big learning curve now.
It's almost like
Yeah,
that's
I'll
a little.
put myself in that aspect. Anytime I try to get back into World of Warcraft when a new expansion comes out, I'm like, what the hell game is this?
Yeah, how do you play
what
anymore?
Happened?
They've
So-
introduced, the pet fighting that people like, which is like Pokemon,
Yeah.
now and all this different stuff. It's crazy. Like, and in the old game, I remember the first time I fired up Warcraft, it took me 10 minutes to figure out how to move my character. I was like, how do I move? What is going on here? And like, I can just remember my first little baby steps into the Warcraft world, but it was a game that I loved from the beginning. I mean, because once you got it, you understood, and it was a grind. It was a grind to level up. It was a grind to get gold, and everything that you did, it felt like you really had to earn it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like that anymore.
Well, they've definitely streamlined the process here recently, and I've seen a lot of people get very excited about Classic WoW, and hell, some of my best memories of WoW were in Vanilla WoW, doing old school Molten Core and Blackwing Lair and Encourage and stuff like that. But I am kind of like a little leery because I see a lot of people pumped about it, and rightfully so. Are they pumped about it just because of the nostalgic factor?
Right.
That's my question.
That's okay. I mean, it's like it's like the SNES. You know what those games are. You know what to expect. You just like playing them. And like I said, if I were to join in on it, I wouldn't mind the tutorial kind of. Get my baby steps in and be like, okay, now I've got a good feel for what this is. Of course, I would imagine it is a huge hellacious jump from that to what it is now, but at least I know the basics.
Yeah.
So
I would enjoy going back to the old school honor system, the way they used to do it, and they had the ranks, the PvP
Battlegrounds.
ranks in the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
I actually really preferred that over what we have now, but but like you said, is it that I have this rosy memory of the way it used to be, and it really wasn't better?
you're not thinking of the things that pissed you off.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of, gosh, I wish it was this way, that you actually have in the new one that you're going to have to kind of let go of in this if you play it.
It's an absolutely fair question, and I've heard people say that, like, I've heard the naysayers, the detractors,
Sure.
and people say, I don't get it. Why are people excited about this? Me personally, it probably is a huge nostalgia pool for me. But there are legitimate things that I preferred in vanilla.
Maybe that's what they want to see. They could be doing it for nostalgia, but at the same time, maybe they want to see what people really enjoyed about that. Back to your roots kind of thing. And they're like, maybe we should dial this back. Maybe we should go this direction. With companies like that, I would think that they would place that in there and just see what they get out of it and see how they can improve going forward with their next DLC or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be fun to kind of jump back and forth too, because
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna have characters in vanilla WoW, but you can go and try the new stuff and play the new
Yeah.
stuff anyway. So I don't know. I like it. It's not like you have to do it because it exists.
No.
No reason to poo poo on it. Here's what I say, and I've said this in the past: don't poo poo on other people's joy.
That's right.
It takes all kinds in the nerd community.
Don't hate the happiness.
We are an intricate tapestry of taste, and that's what creates this great nerd world that we have. So don't go crapping on somebody else's excitement just because you don't get it. Doesn't mean it's not cool for them. That's all.
I think if well, as I say, go ahead, Landon.
I was just going to say it's okay to not like things, but don't be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's interesting to see why somebody likes it. It's like, if you don't like it, that's fine. But it's like, why do you like it? And that's interesting to hear to me. And that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like something, like I do not like an array of things, but I'm like, why do you like
We
it?
mostly crap on things for funsies.
Like Andy McDowell. Why do you not like her?
Well, I think I've made a case that I do.
Oh, we're all aware.
You've definitely put some check marks in that box. You're
Yeah,
correct.
we've heard the podcast.
So with all of this announcements, there was no talk of the next iteration of Diablo at all.
I didn't see any Diablo announcements.
Yeah, I did not see any Diablo announcements either. And now that you mention it, that's kind of
Yeah, I
okay.
was about to say, does that worry you, or does that be like, oh, they're just not focused on it?
It doesn't necessarily worry me. Now, if they announced no additional Diablo news and that they were pulling down the servers for 3, then I'd be like, okay, wait, what's going on? But
Uh-oh.
I mean, they're as far as I know, they're continuing on with the season play. I know Jay and I have talked about it in the past. As long as that keeps going, that's going to give people a reason to come back and keep playing. But yeah, it's like it kind of feels like something for like Diablo 4 or I don't know where you could go in the story of Diablo 3 after that DLC dropped. But yeah, just something for Diablo. Now that you mention it, that would have been nice.
Yeah, and maybe they don't have anything to show. You know, if they are working on 4, they're like, we're not ready to show any of this. And they're definitely a company that can say, let's put this on the back burner till we have something to show people.
And that's Blizzard to a T. I mean, they're not going to put out something just because they need to put something out. I mean, there's the story of StarCraft Ghost, which was a over-the-shoulder third-person kind of action game starring a ghost from the StarCraft universe, and from all reports said it was like 85% done, and Blizzard just shelved it because it's like this doesn't live up to our standards. This isn't what we want to do. So
I heard they're their hardest critics. That I have heard. It's like, you know, are they the ones that shut down the 10-year game?
Yeah. Are you talking about, wasn't it called Titan?
Titan. 10 years of working on this game, and it just wasn't what they wanted, and they're like, nope.
Well, parts of it have made their way to Overwatch.
Is that what it was?
Okay.
What
I've heard.
That's what it is. Okay. Well, and then they're using, you know, they're at least using some of that money they use for development somewhere else. But I mean,
but you're right. That was one of those
10 years to go.
All those
no, thank you.
rumors. There was such speculation, and the things that you heard about it sounded like it was going to be the replacement for World of Warcraft. But what I've heard is like some of the maps and some of the aspects have made it into Overwatch.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they didn't.
It's real quick. Speaking of Overwatch, Jeff Kaplan was giving a panel and was talking about the development of Overwatch and some of the characters, and he gave sketches of some characters that didn't make the cut. One character that I'm really disappointed did not make the cut, and the name says it all: Jetpack Cat.
That sounds like a YouTube video.
Jetpack Cat.
Yeah.
Goodness.
30 million views.
Yep.
Yeah, that is disappointing. But overall, some cool stuff, you know. And Battle for Azeroth, I was just reading it. The cap goes up to 120 for levels. There's going to be new areas to explore, new objectives, of course. And they're going to introduce like 3 specific new races on either side. And the way I'm reading it is you're supposed to work to bring one of them into the fold for your side, whether you're Horde or Alliance, and then you can unlock so you can actually play as that new race. So that's interesting too. You know, I started to ask a question, but then I kind of get it. Like them boosting the level cap to 120. I wanted to say, will there ever be like a max level? And they're like, we're not going to boost it because it almost gets kind of ridiculous. I'm a level 200. Like. Yeah. But at the same, I think they have to, because if they introduce new continents and you don't make it challenging to where you have to level up to, you know, to be able to work through it, you know, maybe there wouldn't be a lot of incentive to go explore and do the quest.
What if? Yeah, I've always thought about games like that, especially when you have different regions and continents of things. And this is something I thought about on Elder Scrolls. Was why wouldn't you make regional levels?
Yeah.
You know, instead of like having an overall 200, why wouldn't you be like, if they introduce a new continent, you're 0 on that.
You're
on that
0
continent
there,
because you don't know how to attack those animals, those enemies, and that kind of thing.
You don't have knowledge of the terrain.
But your buddy needs help in, say, Budland, you know. So you go over there, you're a level 50 in Budland because you've been crushing it.
That's really a good idea.
And you know,
you should pitch that to somebody.
I just did.
Another $1 million idea.
Listen up. Let me get it on the flip side and give my theory why they won't do that. Destiny 2, when it launched, they announced, none of anything you did in Destiny 1, like your armor, your character, none of that's going to carry over. And people lost their damn minds because they're like, I worked so hard to get the Hingle McCringleberry armor set, and it's just going to be thrown away. And people were pissed. Now, it actually turned out okay in Destiny 2 when you actually played the damn game, but there are going to be people who are going to freak out about hearing that their work and their and what they've earned isn't going to carry over to another part of the game.
I'm not saying it doesn't carry over. I'm just saying that it won't be as effective as something from that region. And I mean, if you think about it, if you take, you know, your bikini armor into the cold mountains, guess what? You're going to freeze to death.
The more you talk about this, the more it makes sense. You could have regional armor sets,
Sure.
and
you can use your old armor, but the thing is, it will not be as effective.
And then when you have like dungeons in that area, sure, you've got to collect the armor class, like the armor set from that area, so that you're prepared to go into that dungeon. This makes total sense. I actually really like this a lot.
I just thought
Let's make
about
a
it.
game.
Let's make.
Let's start learning how to code.
Hey, I'm sure the guys at Friday the 13th are looking for a new challenge.
I don't want to pitch it to them. I want to make this. This is our $1 billion idea.
I don't know coding.
That could hold us up.
They could hold us up.
Yeah,
it feels like something we would need to look into.
that might be the sticking.
We
point.
might need people who have like gaming skills and computer experience.
I'm going to edit all this out because I don't
gone.
need people stealing our
That's
ideas.
right. Gone.
Just kidding. I won't steal
It's
our
in the
ideas.
ether.
Fine, we can't do it.
It's okay. I think it would make more sense in a lot of games. Destiny, I would still be pissed. You know, I feel like that stuff should still be able to be used, but it's just not going to be as
it's
good
not
as
as
the new
effective.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you go in there and you're trying to fight, you know, something you should obviously have better armor for. Come on. It knows you're not going to fight the shadow with, you know, your freaking 10 full armor.
Say you go into like a forest region and you're wearing shiny silver armor.
Bingo, you're going to get shot.
Yeah, you're going to attract more.
You're gonna get some
attention.
aggro.
Yeah, you're going to get some aggro, bro. So you need to get your forest armor on.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. You need to get that ghillie suit going,
Yep.
and you need to get deep down in that moss and wait.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly in that ghillie.
Dilly.
I don't know. I just thought. I mean, don't get me wrong. That pushes the envelope on a lot of things like money, where it's like, oh, you know, I don't think there should be any regional money. Now that I've heard in some games,
Oh,
is
I
like,
wouldn't like that
you have
either.
to do exchanges for different. And I know
Currency
you've
exchange.
I've seen it. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the game where you could exchange different money for different things.
I think we talked about that. At
We
one
did
point,
at one
we were
point
like-
because it was in a game, and
Yeah,
I was
we were
like, "This is awful."
Oh, you know what I want to do is exchange currency in my
Yeah,
game.
yeah, it's loving it. But yeah, I don't think you should have that kind of problem. But I mean, and that's another thing. It's like your armor's not as effective. Your chainmail bikini's not as effective in the mountains. But guess what? The people in the mountains, they want your chainmail bikini.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give you a good rate on it that you won't get in that other place because they don't have
rare.
that naturally in their region.
And you could have areas that are combined too.
yeah,
so,
exactly.
So that like,
where they run together.
and your armor might give you one benefit if you wanted to play a certain way for this zone, but if you get something from the desert zone,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense to me. The more I talk about it, the more I like it. I think we're geniuses.
I don't know. I just thought it would be cool.
All right, I agree.
I was thinking about it when I was
just-
playing Diablo.
Let's
I was
sit
like,
here and dream about our yachts. That
I was
we'll
in
never
the
have.
desert and I had the same armor I had from when I was in the dungeon. I was like, I should be sweating balls in
Yeah,
this thing. I got that Crusader and he's wearing like a half-ton car on him running around.
Well, in Overwatch, you see May running around in her parka all the time. That can't be totally appropriate for all weather conditions.
That's another thing. Maybe skins should be appropriate to maps. You know, that's another
I don't really
thing.
want to have to worry about like
No, automatic.
Yeah, just automatic.
Automatic. Like you-
effect.
Yeah, that was my thing. Is you buy an upgraded skin, and yes, in cold weathers you have a different looking parka. In hot weathers you would have this more slim down leather looking suit. I'm just saying, it would automatically do it. It would just, your character would change per. When somebody picks Redkin, you're gonna be another color.
It should be an option. Like if
Sure.
you want it to automatically switch to something appropriate for the zone,
Yeah.
you can check it. Otherwise, you say, "No, I just want to use my Halloween
I want to be.
one all
Yeah,
the time.
I want to be.
I want to be
Junkerton.
the headless horseman all the time." or
every time.
something. Yeah. All right. So BlizzCon did happen. We just discussed it. We
Seems
love-
like Blizzard's giving everything you guys want. I mean,
I think so.
and they're definitely piquing your interest on certain games, and I don't know, they're not doing a bad job.
No, they're good at what they do. Tell us what you thought about it. We'd love to hear from you. Sound
Absolutely.
off at nerd_news_cafe on Twitter, or you can go to the forum and talk to us about it, or our Facebook page. All those places are valid.
Correct.
Yeah.
I want to address something that we did get an answer on because Google is always listening, always judging.
Always listen.
On the feed, on the Facebook thing, they have I posted up on our page a comparison of what Wolfenstein looks like in Germany versus the rest of the world.
I did see that.
Yeah, that was.
It is interesting. Hitler is a man without a mustache. All the symbols are changed. And, I mean, it is completely, they have completely wiped that whole thing clean of any kind of Nazi memorabilia
Symbolism,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised
Yeah,
he's even using
they
a
even
Ruger.
removed the name of Hitler.
Absolutely.
Didn't they just refer to him as the counselor
The
or
counselor,
something?
yeah, the counselor. That's what they call him. They call him the Führer in the American one, and then in the German one, yeah, counselor. It's interesting. So
There you go.
there's our
That's how
answer,
they do
guys.
it. Interesting.
And I did have to do a double take when it's like, wait, did they edit out his mustache? Yeah, they
Absolutely.
totally edited out his mustache.
And he looks like a completely different person.
He does, yeah.
He's a new man.
it's kind of
Probably
the
still a piece
trademark.
of so
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What a garbage individual.
human garbage.
Garbage.
A human toilet.
All right, Matt, we got some things to be roasting about today.
Yeah, let's talk about consumerism and the butchers that we live by.
Let's do it.
So in this premium roast, I want to go over, in particular, our friends at MoviePass.
Oh yeah, that's enemy number one on the list today.
Yeah, as always, in every contract you ever sign on any website, there is always the English that says we have the right to change this at any point in time for any reason that we feel fit. Well, guess who has enabled themselves to, go ahead and make that a reality for you? MoviePass has put in the English, and I guess it was in there from the beginning, from the article, but it now says MoviePass reverses the right to change the rules of movie-going attendance and ticket availability to the members in connection with the service at any time. MoviePass reserves the right to change from time to time the number of eligible movies a member can see per month. MoviePass reserves the right to offer members a new price option if they exceed watching a certain amount of movies per month. Basically, they are going to throttle you to death now.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you enjoy that the movies you did get to see, because now, no, Big Brother's in there and you have watched way too many premium movies.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's people that are not overusing, they're using it exactly like they should have been
as they
using it.
intended.
Yep.
I hope you saw Thor Ragnarok as many times as you needed to, because now you're going to get penalized.
Yeah. And then they're going to say, go see as many movies as you want, but once you get to a certain point, maybe not that many movies.
Oh,
You didn't say the magic word.
so this article from, Geek Tyrant illustrates that parts of this contract now says that you could possibly lose the Movie Pass, is what they're implying towards the end. And so we went from, as they say, use it or lose it, to basically use it too much and you will lose it. I don't know if they can cancel your Movie Pass or what, but now there's going to be a tier system maybe involved that comes into play. And I mean,
Well, we knew this.
everybody knew this was coming.
Your mom tells you if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Probably is, yeah.
There's also talk in the and this is more in the comments section, but it kind of made me think that maybe all these subscriptions and getting you to sign on was a deal for them to take that information and sell it, because that's a lot of people's information they just acquired, and that's a lot of money you can make off selling those, from what I understand. So if you want to cancel, now's the time.
Yeah. Essentially, AMC was right when they said, this is not a viable business model.
Nope.
And we do not want to see this continue. And, oh, by the way, now MoviePass is like, maybe they were right. Because, I mean, like we said, they were paying movie theaters full price for the movies that people were going to go see. So, okay, I'm going to pay, hey, MoviePass, I'm going to pay you $10 a month. I'm going to go see, let's say...
Everything.
Let's just say in a month, let's look at the weekends. I could go see 8 to 10 movies.
That's what I say. You got a clear weekend. You ain't got no responsibilities. You ain't got nowhere to be. You got no job.
Yeah.
You straight up go to the theater and you watch back to back to back to back.
Yeah. So we're looking at what? At least $100
At least.
in ticket prices. So doing the math, and I'm no math magician, but I am an accountant.
Come on, do the numbers for
I'm
us.
no rocket surgeon.
Go ahead. Go against your credo of never doing public math.
I have to feel like you're probably in the red.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's even if you just go see 5 movies a month,
Yeah.
that Movie Pass is still having to pay for all 5 of those movie tickets, and you're paying $9.99 for it.
Yep.
And it's
Once.
like, honestly, it's like, how can they? I know the language is in the fine print, but like, this just feels like bait and switch.
It is.
This feels like illegal. This feels like some shady stuff.
Well, it's like basically what they did is they said, okay, sign up for this membership. Here are the rules that you can play by until we decide those aren't the rules
Until we decide,
anymore.
I'm gonna take my ball and I'm gonna go home,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna make new rules when I come back home. Okay.
Yeah, like they're moving the goalposts after they have your money.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about our enemy number 2.
Okay.
Which you're okay with this. I am not.
Well, I'm just gonna give you the other side of it.
Sure, that's fine,
Okay.
and you can, and I will totally hate it.
All right.
But Regal, big movie corporation,
Headquartered in Knoxville, Tennessee.
yeah, they are obviously considered raising ticket prices for hit movies and dropping them for bombs. Now, my first instance is, when does that determined? And when it's determined, what are you hiking it up to? So I need to be a first adopter to watch it so I don't get charged extra to see it. I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and get your VPN ready, because it's going to be Pirate Central if this becomes a model.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's going to drive people away from Regal theaters, or it's going to drive people even more so to stay home and watch these movies on their own home theater experiences, and they can go to some less than reputable websites and find them on the free. And another question: who determines what is a bomb?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Metacritic? Is it Rotten Tomato? Is it the box office numbers themselves?
Yeah.
This just feels like a bad move by Regal.
Yeah, and okay, so I totally see all the points that you guys are making on this. I get it. As I did some research, I read a few different articles on this because I really wanted to understand what was the thought process and how would this really work. And the first question that you're asking is, how do you determine a bomb or a blockbuster? That's a good question, because on day one, I don't know how you know that,
Exactly.
unless you're looking at pre-sales. But even so, pre-sales have to have a price point. So I would say that what they're going to do is there's going to be some sort of a starting point for tickets that are coming out like on release date. Mm-hmm. And then the scale will slide. So basically that point would probably be the same regardless of movie. It's going to, and let's say, okay, and I'm just going to give us a number to play with. Let's say a movie ticket costs $10.
Sure.
So what Regal might be saying here is, for Thor Ragnarok, if you want to go on opening night or opening weekend, it's going to cost you $12.
Absolutely, because they already know
ticket.
Thursday and Friday.
Per ticket. Mm-hmm. So you're paying a couple bucks more per ticket. Now, a month from now, when it's still in theaters and demand has dropped off, when it does drop off, and it'll be a while, let's say 6 weeks in, demand drops off for Thor Ragnarok. You want to go on a Wednesday at noon, $8.
So, should be 6,
or
should be 4.
I'm just using comparable numbers, like 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah.
So here's what they're kind of banking on. People are going to go to the blockbusters that they want to see regardless. Mm-hmm. So they know we can probably squeeze for a little bit more money here, because they're going to be that demand already exists, and sure, maybe it drops off a little bit if we charge a little more, but they don't get. As you know, movie theaters make very little money on tickets.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're hoping you'll buy popcorn.
It's all about getting butts in the seats. They know the demand exists. Here's a way for them to maybe incrementally increase some revenue. Now, on the movies that are bombs, and let's talk about something like, I don't know, The Last Airbender.
I was going to say Dark Tower.
Well, okay. That's a good current example.
That's what I'm saying. That was a big
or
one.
King Arthur, the new King Arthur.
Yeah, it was very highly, okay, this is going to be something.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
So day one, if you're a day one person, you want to go see it, you're going to pay $12. It bombed. Nobody went to see it. So next weekend, you're looking at the marquee, and you're saying, all right, what are we going to go see today? Well, Thor Ragnarok's out, but man, it's packed and it's $12. We could go check out the Emoji Movie for $6 today. Mm-hmm. And what you're trying to do is increase the butts in the seats for those movies there. People are like, I'm not paying $12 to see that movie.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get people in there because you want to sell them popcorn, because you want to sell them an $8 soda, because you want to sell them a hot dog. That's what you're trying to do. Me personally, we were just talking earlier on the Tuesday show about the GameStop Super Pass. There is a greater chance that I would go see a movie like Mother for $6 rather than $12.
Very true.
So
Very true.
There,
I can
there
see
are
it.
movies that I could rationalize if I felt like I was only paying like a 50% ticket price, and I'm still going to go see The Last Jedi, even if it's 12.
Absolutely.
So that's and Regal's using data and information like that to try to make this decision. So that's, I think, where the thinking is coming from. But I totally do understand that there are going to be people that are saying, if you're gouging me, I can get this stuff for free.
Yeah, I can get it free or I can wait. I mean, Blu-ray is so quick now. I mean, we're getting stuff within 6 months now.
Yeah, not the really popular stuff. It takes a little longer.
It just depends. I think TV has more of a longer wait date because they want to fully get you involved in like rewatching it and stuff like that before they drop. Like a Game of Thrones, you're going to see this season before the holiday season.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out in December. But I think the only reason you're getting that is because of the pump for it coming in. But as far as, I'll tell you something else, as you were talking, it kind of hit me. You are going to skew numbers so badly now. Yeah. And it's going to throw, like an Emoji Movie is going to look like a hit now. Because you're going to get, like you said, people coming in there because it's cheap. So it's like, oh, I made these small percentage of sales, which boost the numbers and make it look like more.
Yeah, you can't look at volume anymore.
You can't look at volume at all. Ticket sales or anything.
Yeah.
It's all gonna push that hearsay and want say into critics and user reviews.
I mean, I guess I can see the possibility and their thought process. And yeah, if we lower the prices on some movies, people will come and see them. But at the same time, if everybody knows this movie is bad, like you're still paying 60% reduced price for a turd, you're still buying a turd.
No, I
True.
I get it, but
Let's talk about the crowds that are going to be in these bottomed out movies too. There's going to be some a-holes up in there. You want to go riff this movie? It's only $6. Hell yeah!
Oh God!
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I'm not going to lie. It would cross my mind.
But there are movies that, like, okay, say, my son really wanted to see Boss Baby.
Sure.
It ate me alive to pay full price.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it it was like, my wallet, I can't hang on to it. It's dragging me through the street.
And even if you go to a matinee at the Pinnacle at Turkey Creek, you're still paying $9 a ticket.
Oh, absolutely,
for
you
matinee.
are. Yeah, and you may not. They may not have too many showings of it too. When things start going down, they start limiting the showings. Of course, because they're not going to lose any money on it. But
yeah. I actually went in a theater the other day, and it was over here at the new AMC Classic that's very near our house. And I guess I'd never been in this theater before, but it was when we went to go see.
Not since they've changed it. I think me and you saw Ant-Man there.
Yeah, I haven't been since it's changed, but I've never been in this particular theater.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
was it tiny?
There were like 30 seats. I didn't know they had one like that.
Me and my wife went and saw Interstellar, and if it's the same theater, and it was like it'd been out for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and we were like, we wanted to see a movie. We're like, oh, Interstellar, we hadn't seen it. Sounds cool. Shouldn't be anybody. Packed to the gills, this little theater was, and I'm like, they need to move this to another auditorium.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked in the experience of where we had to find seats. We had to talk this old man out of getting out of the little two-seater. I was like, look, there's two of us, there's one of you. Understand that you feel like you need your imaginary friend, but please. He wasn't hard to deal with. He was just kind of like, okay. He's okay, but.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess
I just feel like it's going to really screw up a lot of things.
It really could. It really could. And they're testing it. They haven't really announced what markets they're going to test it in.
Not
but
here.
I have to imagine Knoxville being their headquarters. They're going to test it here.
Probably.
Yeah,
so they can keep a close eyes on it.
And it's going to start early next year is when they're going to start doing this. I'm interested to see how it works. It's, when you break it down, it's basic economics. It's supply and demand. They're going to charge you more for something that's in high demand and less when it's not. Going into another one of my favorite topics, Disney has started doing demand pricing for their tickets. So if you go,
theme parks have always done that, haven't they? Like
always had a
off
flat
season.
price.
I thought they had like an off season you could
for
go
hotels.
cheaper.
You're right.
Okay,
for the
okay,
hotels.
for the hotels.
For the
okay.
hotels,
I thought maybe the theme park had a lower.
But hotels have always used this model.
Yes.
In that I'm going to charge you $300 a night.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to stay here Christmas Eve.
If you try to go, I can't even imagine what you have paid, Landon, to go to freaking Dragon Con.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, if you don't get one of the Dragon Con rates, it's like, oh, welcome to the Marriott. It's going to be $285 a night.
Yeah.
If you can get the reservation, and it's the same way for all the surrounding hotels.
Oh, but you want to come next week when nothing's going on? $50.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same room
for the presidential suite.
It's the same room. It's just supply and demand.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're looking
I guess
at.
I understand hotels more than I understand movies because I can't go get a place
Right,
to stay
you can't
for free.
download a you can't
I can't
download,
a room.
hotel.
I can stay in a box behind the hotel.
you could-
That's fine. Or make friends that have a room.
You could 3D print yourself a little room.
I would love to see someone's 3D printed room they've attached to a hotel. Please send me screenshots. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to screw up a lot of economics. And the other thing I was thinking, and maybe the money does go to the theater, but like when they drop the price, and I know we're picking on Emoji Movie, but it is an absolute piece of garbage. So that's money getting pushed towards that movie, which tells the studio, well, now it looks like everybody thought this was a great idea. Let's make 10 more.
Yeah, that's it.
That I do not want to happen. Look, this is trash. You made trash. Don't make any more trash.
But again, they'd have to look at like price per unit.
Absolutely.
So volume.
If they do, I don't know what goes into a studio
volume
to
shouldn't-
greenlight something.
Volume shouldn't make that determination if they're only. Yeah, we got 1 million people to see this movie, but they all paid $4.
They'll pay $2.
But we still got 1 million people to see it. So.
Exactly. And I don't know what international pricing is. I would imagine certain economic levels, the ticket is not going to be $8, not $8 American dollars. 1,000 rubles. Who knows? But
Rubles, what do we? I didn't know Hyrule got movies.
I don't know what other people's money is. Yen,
Deutschmarks.
It's just all money.
money. That's a hard word. So I don't know. I just do not want this to happen. I understand dropping it if it's crap. To get people in the theater to buy your concessions that pays the people who run the theater and otherwise. That I understand.
But jacking it up.
But
yeah.
gouging me and squeezing me for stuff I'm going to go see. And here's the thing. You were talking about home theaters, Landon. Home theater systems are not hard to set up. And let me tell you something. Pick a room in your house. And this is, I'm not the best at economics or engineering, but I'm going to say probably $3,500 to maybe somewhere in the upwards of $5,000. You can get
you could have a
ridiculous
You
theater
could
in
have a
your
super
house.
nice setup
That's what
for
I'm saying.
$5,000.
For $5,000, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. But think about that investment versus what you're getting out of it. If you're spending $12 to $15 on your hits every freaking week, you're going to hit that $5,000 mark pretty quick.
How many, and this is going to be skewed by people who go to the theater more often, but like how many blockbusters do you think you go to a year on opening night or opening weekend?
That I go, well, we all know I don't go that much, but if I had my druthers, I would probably hit every Marvel movie. I would hit the Star Wars, the Star Treks.
Well, what you want is different than what you can do.
We'll say what I did pre-baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I probably did 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Okay,
8
so
to
that's
10.
more than what I
because there's a lot of Marvel coming out. So
for me, I'd put it more in the range of 4 to 5.
It's really what
when
Marvel puts out. Those are really the only movies, and I guess superhero movies in general, because it's like Justice League's getting ready to drop in a couple weeks, and I'm going to go see that opening night.
Sure you are.
So.
Sure
And I really think it's those big marquee titles, and it's like you say it's 4 to 5 for you, Jay. I think I'm more closer to Matt's range, just because there's so many
you're higher
damn
than me.
superhero movies coming out.
I would love to have seen Alien, even though it bombed. And that's another one. I would love to have seen it when it came out because I love that franchise. I would have loved to have been a part of Blade Runner, which I did not. I still haven't got to see.
Yeah, I still gotta go see.
I would love to be a part of these. I can't personally, but I would.
But I will tell you that what it sounds like would happen would
But
be
it's going to change my mind on it.
If you can't go opening night because it's not your hashtag jams, or maybe you're just not that passionate about it. For me,
I'm not a FOMO person either.
For me, Last Jedi, I want to be there opening night.
Sure you do. You want to support that.
Justice League, I'm okay 2 weeks in.
Oh, yeah.
For me, personally.
Sure.
Just because it's just not my passion, even though Batman's in that movie. Affleck's not my favorite Batman.
I didn't get to see Spider-Man. That would have been another one that I would love to have went and saw. I didn't get to.
So I think Regal would tell you 2 weeks in, that price isn't going to be at the peak.
If they're looking for money models, they really need to look in TV premieres. I mean, granted, Inhumans really burnt that freaking wick. But if you think about it, if you took and you put Game of Thrones up on that screen, what's that going to generate? You know what I mean? That's going to be some serious money. Even if you do it a day after, people are going to be like, well, I'll just wait. I'll go see it at the theater. That'll be great. I'll be in like Flint. So I would watch a lot of TV
Yeah.
in the theater if I had, if it was at a certain price.
Well, I think it's really interesting. I think it'll be, from a business perspective, it's going to be interesting to see
hope it
how it
fails.
plays out.
I hope it fails I hope it fails on the gouging end. I'll put it that way.
I think you have to have one if you're going to do the other.
I know. It's there's no way around
Yeah.
having one without the other.
Because you can't
know?
drop prices
No.
and
not raise the
them.
other. Yeah, I know. I get it. I don't like it. I personally don't like it, but I can't stop it. I think it's an move. I really do. But theaters are struggling. I get it. We've seen it 100 times in the media that they're having trouble maintaining the theaters and the locations, and we're back to the brick and mortar things because people will spend the $3,000 for a home theater system and go, I just get the Blu-ray. So,
and I mean, like you just said, theaters are already struggling to keep people coming in. I really feel like this is a step in the wrong direction. People are going to see this, and I do see the points you're making, Jay. But I think the general public's going to side on Matt and my viewpoint, saying screw this.
I think it's a good question for our listeners.
I think it's a beautiful question that can be addressed on the forums.
It can be addressed on the forums, but I'll put a poll out there on Thursday, and I think I can put 3 options. One is, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea?
Would you pay it?
Would
Will
you
you
pay?
walk
Would
away?
you not pay? Would you pirate?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Would you wait till you see it at home? I can put a few options out there, but I
Yeah.
think that would be a good no pants
Wait.
poll this Thursday.
You're going to Blu-ray it? You're going to Blu-ray your movies? Are you going to still be first in line? Or you're going to pirate it first day? I mean, granted, I have seen some pirate stuff. I'm not above seeing that, but they're cams, man, and they are awful.
Oh, I love Johnny Depp. Those are good movies.
No, they're awful.
Oh,
No, it's people with a camera in their pocket at most times, and it's in a foreign theater. And I think my favorite one that I just to see was a Russian King Kong. It was the funniest thing to have John Goodman speak Russian. It was hilarious. If you want something to laugh at, it's hilarious. It's not a viable option a lot of times, but wait a couple weeks. I would imagine that those versions get better. Yeah. So I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. I like I said, I want it to fail.
I really don't think that, though. I think that there's some details that we just need to get cleared up.
Sure.
And one of them would be, when a blockbuster movie comes out, that price point is not going to stay true for the entire run in the theater. It's going to change, and it'll be variable based on day.
If they had a dip point, like you want to be first in line, you're going to pay first
that's
in
what
line.
I mean.
You know what I mean? You're going to pay $2 to $4 extra. We'll say you pay $14 to be first night, first weekend, and then it drops back to regular price for the rest of the week, and then it drops another $1 the week after that, and it keeps dropping a certain amount of pricing because they can't keep the volume.
I mean, that's exactly what I think
I'm
they're doing.
okay with that, I guess. I don't really like that because there are movies I want to see with you all or any, my other friends, because I have them. They're not imaginary. But I really want to be a part of that with them. Yeah. So it just sucks, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy popcorn. And that's another thing. Where do you trade it off? Mm-hmm. If I'm paying $14, I'm sneaking snacks in. I'm eating before I come. You're not getting you're not getting a damn dime from me in that concession stand. That's going to be Ghost Town, USA, baby, Maggieville. Put it across the top.
That's true. Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll put the question out there at nerd_news_cafe.
This should be a good poll,
Twitter.
man. I'm interested.
Yeah, I am too. You can sound off on the forum. You can get there from our website, nerdnewscafe.com. You can visit our Facebook fan page. You can email us, nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. You can call our hotline, 1-800-DTF.
NNC DTF apostrophe. If you can find the apostrophe number, you got it.
I was going to say we might need a couple more numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe. Not in this phone-centric universe. But yeah, hit us up. I want to know some people's opinions. As many as we can get. Grab a friend. Get them to join the forums.
Yeah, retweet it.
Retweet the piss out of this.
I really want to get a good response on this.
Yeah, I want a good sampling size here. So,
what other stuff we have to throw out there before we wrap it up?
Well, I have something else I'm passionate about, which is Star Trek. And if you're passionate about Star Trek or not passionate about Star Trek, maybe you just like Sequel Green or whatever her name is. I can't remember names. But Shaniqua, there we go.
Martin Green.
Shaniqua. I don't know. Martin Green is always what I say because I stay safe. So if you guys like the new Star Trek Discovery and you want to jump on board with me and Thomas as we talk about our passions in this realm, me being old school, him being new school track, you can hit us at Tracking Trek Podcast or hit our Twitter at Tracking Trek Pod.
Landon.
Cool. Now, Jay, you get in here with your plugs, because remember, when I start talking, the show's over.
At the Croots on Twitter, and you should go out and look up a couple of YouTube videos, one of them being potato kinishes.
And make sure you've done your drugs for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, because if you watch them, you will think, and you haven't done your drugs, and you watch them, you will think you are on drugs. So go ahead and just get high as hell. And remember, Jay suggested that, not me. Up with hope, down with dope. That's what I say. Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find the latest musings from me. 140 characters at a time. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com, buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt
And munch.
It's where you can find the exclusively posted podcast Game of Thrones Talk, a.k.a. Got Talk, where myself and Hunter East break down each episode of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. We have a full run of Season 7, and while we wait for Season 8 to drop, we have the Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack, which is a conversation podcast where we have one thing we talk about and expand on that. The most recent one we have is the conversation we had on the future of video games, where we want to go, how we got here, et cetera, et cetera. We are going to have a spoiler cast for Thor Ragnarok and where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is left after the events of Ragnarok, so keep an eye on that. And that is also posted exclusively at Butt Munch Chips. And remember, Butt Munch Chips.
Sit on your butt and munch.
So for Matt Weaver and Justin Kritzinger, my name is Landon Doan. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up. You've been great. We've been Nerd News. Good night.
God save the Queen!
Jesus Christ.